Yo, Joe!
Hello everybody and welcome back to another sort of mods customization figure video thing. Essentially I'm just gonna throw in some of the figures that I've modified here and there, most recently, or some of the ones I find easier to sort of mod would be those of the female figures. For some reason, the ball joints they use on the females, they're very sturdy, and I'm not too afraid of, heating them up and, disassembling them. But essentially, for Agent Helix, I went ahead and there's a few mod here at the head where I removed some of the plastic that's on part of the head sculpt here on the back, as you can see in there. Just removing that bit of plastic will let her look up a little bit more than she did before. You can also go in there and remove some of this plastic there to allow this to hinge back a little more. So that's something I may still do after this video, but as I was saying, they're just so easy to disassemble, and the only reason they're easy now is because I removed plastic, so the ball joint isn't in there as tightly, but it still holds in there. It's not gonna fall apart in your hands. But essentially removing some plastic from this area here is gonna allow you to crunch forward at the waist a little more, and you can see how the ball joint is in there, pretty sturdy chunk of plastic in there, which for some reason they don't use that with the male figures, but you can see that lower ab crunch or waist crunch there helps it a lot. And I'm gonna do this off camera. Again, sturdy ball joint here, makes it easy to disassemble. I'm not as scared, to break these compared to the male ball joints that they have down here at the waist. But you can see I removed a lot of the plastic around here. It's also the reason I can disassemble it now without any heat. But yeah, just removing plastic around where the ball joints are supposed to go just lets you get that much more range that you need and deserve for very flexible characters like Agent Helix here. She can now crunch forward very well, and then she can look up as well while doing so. So that is just a whole ton better than what she could do before. I basically did the same with Scarlet here. I did improve her range looking up. Not too sure what I did. Just removing some plastic in there. As always, you can also remove some from here at the neck. But yeah, just a little bit. You can get her to look up a little more. I assume I did. I don't know if she'll be as easy to. The bottom one is, again, removing plastic just here around where the ball joint is supposed to go. Just allows you to get so much more range out of these bodies as such. Same thing with female officers or troopers. Much added range there. Feel like I can get a little more out of the bottom waist, but I did remove a lot of the plastic and I don't want to go in too deep. But I think that's better than what they could do before. I even removed some at the neck, especially back here, so that the hinge can go back a little more, and that allows her to look up significant. I can't really say that word right now. Essentially, better articulation for the females, easy to disassemble for me, easy mods, and you just get a whole ton of range in their ab sections. Moving on, I did say in my Cobra Viper video that I would try to modify the Alley Vipers here, and for most part I think I did okay with this one. Again, I like my articulation for my figures. You know, I want to pose them, be able to pose them. The Viper was very restrictive with this harness here. You couldn't really, you know, get his torso to do much. As I said, I think this is okay. It's not the best, you know, kind of modification to his vest. Again, I kind of kept a sort of belt piece, crotch piece, armor there. But essentially, I tried my best to cut along these lines here with these, where these pouches are, and separate it from there. And then I went ahead and removed these pouches and just glued them on different parts of him. So it's just a random one there, and the other two I placed on the belt over here. You know, and from there you can, you know, get creative and, you know, modify them the way you want. But essentially I just went around, I tried to find, you know, a sort of line that I could follow, but you know, the Heli Viper vest is kind of a wonky one, so I just kind of went ahead and went with, you know, the bottom part of his black strap there and cut along there, all the way around until we reach the front over here. But yeah, like I said, it's not the best, it's not my favorite mod, but I think it's okay for the most part. I think it looks decent enough, and you can now have some crunch. You can actually rotate his waist there, so that's very nice. And it's just so much more dynamic, you know, once you give him the shield and everything. Because when you try to pose this guy, you know, he can be a little restrictive with that torso. It's like you can't really move around too much, which I guess that's what's implied, you know, having a big shield, bulky, very bulky gear. But I just, you know, I just prefer being able to move them around and whatnot. I may, you know, record some footage and just overlay it, showing off different poses that you can now do, you know, with the waist added there, and you know, the ab crunch and whatnot. But yeah, those are some of the mods, or the mods I made to the Heli Viper. You didn't really have to do anything to the head. He can already look up pretty well and down pretty well, so no need to modify that. Shoulder joints, I see they don't get a lot of range, so maybe you can pop them off and do some sort of mod there, but again, I'm not comfortable with popping out arms yet. The legs didn't really need much. I know some people don't like the boot guards being you know, facing inward like that. There's not much or a way I can kind of fix that, so you know, I didn't bother touching those. But I think that does it mostly for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in a future video. Hopefully I can find other things that I can modify a bit in order to, you know, just make a video on it and show you guys what I've modified.